Your speakers are wrong. I get some fun comments on my channel. Sometimes I reply, I am not related either to Paul McCartney or Eric Idle. There, that should deal with that. But on one recent video, more than one commenter remarked that my speakers are all wrong, in two ways. The first way is that they are the Yamaha NS-10M Studio model, which, as everyone knows, are very bad speakers indeed. Well, the first rule of good manners, according to my copy of Debrett's Book of Etiquette, is never criticise a man's choice of wife. The second rule is... No, the point of using these as studio monitors, do you see where it says studio on the front, is that, and I didn't make this up myself, if you can make your mix sound good on these, it'll sound good on anything. Well, it's impossible that's completely true, but it's mostly true. If you're making music or any kind of audio and your monitors have a pleasant, flattering sound, you can't hear that what you've done is bad. You can on these. The other point, for me personally at least, is that although the frequency response is a little less than desirable, and being so small and being closed box there's no deep bass, I hear a lot of detail in these speakers. Details that I don't hear on other, more supposedly hi-fi speakers. And I like that. I like to be able to listen in to the details of music, or any audio. Now that I've dealt with that in a way that no commenter can possibly throw me a comeback, what about the other issue? That my monitors are vertical when obviously they should be horizontal. You can see that from the print on the front. Yes, obviously these loudspeakers are designed to be mounted horizontally, and I'm not doing that. I'm so wrong. But what if I take a look at the manual for these loudspeakers? The actual words of truth from Yamaha upon high.
According to your requirements, however, the positions of the speakers may be reversed, or they may be placed vertically with no effect on reproduction quality.
Yes, it's fine. It's perfectly okay to mount them vertically. Well, of course it is. You can mount any loudspeakers any way you like, any way it sounds good and is convenient for you. Mount them diagonally, if you want. And actually, there is a reason you might want to do that. There will be exceptions. One would be active loudspeakers where the amplifier has a finned heatsink at the back. If the fins are vertical, heat can rise and disperse upwards when the speaker is oriented vertically. I doubt whether this would make much difference in practice, but it's worth a thought. Another is if the speaker has a waveguide or even a horn, where the vertical and horizontal dispersion characteristics are different. Another is that if you're mounting directly onto a surface, then the reflections from that surface will be different. There may be other exceptions, and I'll be pleased to hear about them in the comments. But where there is an exception, a listening test will reveal all. Back to the Yamahas. Why do they look as though they're meant to be mounted horizontally? This goes back to the olden days of the 1980s. I'm cutting this story very short, but it became a trend for producers to take their own small near-field monitors around with them from studio to studio. This way they could have a consistent, familiar reference point. The Yamaha NS-10M, not the studio version, became popular and studios started buying them. The place to put them was obviously above the meter bridge of the mixing console. But when mounted vertically, they partially blocked the direct sound from the main monitors. So place them horizontally. Job done. So when Yamaha brought out their toughened studio version, they expected them to be placed horizontally and printed their legend so that it could be read. It's as simple as that. But what if you have a choice, as I do? This is my view, and I'll be happy to hear alternative opinions. But for me, it comes down to the position of my head. The sound I hear from my monitors changes with the position of my head. Small differences, but noticeable. If I move my head to the side, the path length from the tweeter to my ear and the woofer to my ear of each speaker remains the same if the speakers are vertical. If I move my head up and down, the path lengths change, and this changes the interaction between what I hear from the woofers and what I hear from the tweeters. Okay, this is complicated a little by the tweeter being slightly offset in the NS-10M. It really should be directly above the woofer, but did I say you could mount your speakers diagonally if you wanted? And this could provide a compromise between horizontal and vertical mounting. I just like it this way. I get a more consistent sound, and it's good for my posture to keep my head at the same height while I work. It would be possible to get into comb filtering and path length differences between the woofer and tweeter in different orientations, but there's so much complication in the acoustics of the room that, in my opinion, it boils down to personal taste. Mine is vertical. See you soon.